is the learning process for Fly Me to the Moon, simplified. The first section, you see first of all that the chord progression is around the circle of fifths. So around the circle of fifths means that you're going down by a fifth each time you change the chords. And this is a diatonic circle of fifths, meaning it's staying in the same key. So even though it's in the key of C, which would be the one chord, we're actually starting on A minor, which is actually a sixth chord. But the first thing you're going to do is just play open fifths in your left hand, A, D, and then you just step down. So you hit G on the bottom, and then hit a C. That's it. D, C. Alright, then you're just going to break it up. You keep your hand set, but you just play top, bottom. A, D, G, C, F, B, E, A, D, G, C. Now that's going to get you to here. Alright, and you do that until you can do it a little bit slower. A, D, G, C, F, B, E, A, D, G, C. Once you can do that like that, do it with just your little finger. A, D, G, C, F, B, E, A, D, G, C. Once you can do it with your little finger, now we're going to still look at that bottom note. A, D, G, C, F, B, E. But we're going to sharp the G sharp because it just happens that the composer puts an E major chord in there, whereas normally in C major you wouldn't have that. And then it goes from the E to the A, then the D, and the G, and back to C. So you memorize that. A, D, G, C, F, B, E, A, D, G, and C. And then, as you can, you want to be able to say A minor, D minor, G major, C major, F major, B diminished, E major, A minor, D minor, G major, and C. Alright, then we're going to see if you can play them like that. We'll look at the melody. The melody starts on the third of the A chord, and it's got a repetitive pattern. And each time you play that melody, watch, third of this chord, third of that chord, third of this chord, third of the C chord, third of the F chord, third of the B chord, third of the E chord, third of the A chord. Now it's different. Now here you have to memorize, okay, I'm just playing the bottom and the top of that chord. Then you just have to memorize, you got to come up here to C and go C, B, and play a G with the C chord. And that's easy enough to memorize just because of the pattern. But if you look at the triads like that, you can see, oh, middle note, middle note, middle note. Your ear can fill the rest of it in. So that takes us down to here again. And I would memorize it like that. Now, if you want to try to play triads without dropping down like that, it's going to be a 1-4 shape. 1, and then go to like a 4 shape. Then the G, and like to a 4 shape. This one's a little awkward because you've got to get off that sharp. Still just triads. Let me see if I can do this. No. Alright, no, I'm going to bump into myself here, so now I've got to move my right hand up an octave. Now, and notice that the third of the D chord is now on the top. So I can see the same chord. I've still got C in the middle of this note chord. That's actually middle of that chord. It's just that it's on the top now. So here's our A, D minor, G major, C major, F, so there we are with that. And on the fingering, 5, cross over, same fingering. Make sure you get a stretch here. You want to get that harmonic minor shape. 2 over. Okay, so we got that far. Alright, now the second section is going to start off with a different chord progression. Right in here we have 1, 6, 2, 5, which is C, and then 6 is A, and then 2 is D, and 5 and 1. But instead of jumping way up here, now when you go from 1 to 6, it's just a skip down, so that is not the circle of fifths. But then when you come back to 2, it is the circle of fifths. But whenever we have a 1, 6, 2, 5 chord progression, we're going to do it actually differently. You can. Alright, and if I'm going to do it in triads, instead of jumping down, I just raise this note up. And then I can go to my 2 chord by just coming here, and then do like a 4 chord. And then I'm back here. So that's starting right there on the C major. Raise your top note, get your A minor, play your D minor, go to your like 4 shape, get your G, and back to C. And it doesn't look like that because these are 7th chords, but I'm showing the triadic way. So I've done this. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm triad. C major, A minor, D minor. Alright, now when we get to that point, you're going to have to literally memorize what the notes are that you've got to go to because of the jumps. So I've ended. Alright, now A minor. Now you've got to just know that you go right below C to a B, which ends up actually playing the 7th of that chord, 3rd of that chord. Then here's your 4 chord move. Then you just have to memorize it goes A. Then there's a clash here. So then we're going to play a B, like a 1-4 shape, but it's E major, so you need that sharp in there. And then you start over again. Alright, now we're going to do something different here. We're going to play an E flat diminished. Just raise those bottom 2 notes. Then you go to E minor. Then you start your 1-4 shape again. D minor, 1-4 shape. Okay. So we go back to that 1-4 shape. And that's here starting over again. But when we get da 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 da, right there is where it changes. Let me just do that one section again. So we started after the turnaround. Don't forget to get this stretch. Right now, here you have to just memorize. It goes up half step, then you're going to outline a D chord. I'm going to bring it down here. Then you raise the bottom 2 notes, get an E flat diminished. Gotta just memorize, go to C and then go to E. Alright, now we're back to our 1-4 shape, A minor. You have to memorize it, that's a C. D, root 5th, root 5th, G chord, 3rd, 5th, 3rd, 5th, back to 1. So that's how you memorize that, and you've just got a few little odd things to do there. One is when you switch to the 1, 6, 2, 5. The other is when you have to do the turnaround with a kind of an awkward move. And then the other is when you come to this point where you have to go. And then you have to memorize specifically the odd places where the melody moves in unexpected ways.